actually, every bit of us is full of the experience of our life, and it's full of the experiences of the lives that's gone before us. You know, we're evolving like a tree or a banana or a tiger. To get back into the rest of the whole of who we are, the whole of our bodies, and listen to our bodies, because bodies are really chatty. When you have that instinct, you're like, oh, I don't like it. Pay attention. You know, your body's evolved for you to feel a bit wary of things that may be harmful. You know, is that heat too hot? Does that thing taste slightly? What's that smell? I really love that about being pregnant. Of just going, oh, I'll just switch my head off now. My body will tell me what to do. And paying attention to it. Yeah. What was it like?
But the whip. Let me see if I put the whip. That helps with the because I don't have the external with this right now, and I don't wanna I need to get the adapters upstairs, but let me see how this goes. I know it's not gonna work well with the whip, but
we offer passive investments in cash flowing real estate that can help offer a hedge against inflation and stock market volatility. When home prices and interest rates rise like they are now, many families delay home ownership and choose to rent. At the same time, Key City Capital owns thousands of rental units in the United States. This allows us to offer attractive investments that provide cash flowing income. Let the Key City Capital team grow your wealth and diversify your investment portfolio. Connect with us today at keycitycapital.com/Prager. That's keycitycapital.com/Prager. Or call us at 817-912-1569. That's 817-912-1569. All right. Every time I feel like I'm meeting somebody new, I am learning how many people are also on PhD weight loss. And look, it's hard to lose weight, very hard to keep weight off. I mean, with a crazy schedule, especially when you're traveling as much as I do. And so for a month, I've been on this program, and the results...
there you go. I got something right here. Hold on. Let me see if I got the wire right here with the clip. This guy. No. I saw the clip. I saw the alligator clip around here somewhere. Alligator clip. Where the hell? Alligator clip. Let's see. So I'm using a telescopic whip, but I want to try something else. And let me try this thing right here. I'm going to try something here. I'm going to see if this will work. So I'm going to clip this little... is if I clip this here. Okay. Just gonna drag this wire and see if I could enhance. Because I cannot find the adapter right now. I have to look for it. But I want to try this. And then I'll get an adapter if I have to. I'll get an adapter. But I want to show how good the Kudosin DX286 is. Even in the basement with a telescopic whip antenna. So I'm just going to entangle this wire. It's an experiment. And you know me, I love to experiment. So I'm going to try this. And tune the shortwave band. Because this and this and this. I'm going to put it right here. Now it's just with a piece of wire clipped onto the antenna. And let me wrap it around this coax here. This whip a little more smaller. Just clip it on there. Yeah, get a little more. Go back to
these. The only way to be anti-racist is to be racist, and all of these just weird, illiberal.
I'm gonna try something. I'm gonna go upstairs for a minute. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I want to get to this word illiberal.
How about that? Be right back.
Because I think it's important that people understand there's liberal, there's conservative, there's illiberal. How would you explain to someone who's fertilized? What does illiberal mean? How would you explain it?
Well, it is opposite to the classical definition of liberal, meaning for individual rights and freedoms, civil discourse, due process, these basic values on which our constitutional order, our social culture is really based. Illiberal is more authoritarian, things run through a political lens of any kind, it could be right-wing, left-wing, whatever, and subverting or deprioritizing things like free speech and due process in favor of things like equity, equal outcomes, or people being made to understand the hierarchy of intersectionality and whose voice matters more or should matter more, rebalancing, redistributing, whether it's property or power or privilege or what have you.
The fact that equity has replaced the word equality, to me, is one of the biggest farces in America. I don't understand how people could ever accept equal outcomes among humans who are human. Because we are human, we are all different. We all achieve different things. Some people can sing, some people can't. Some people can paint, others can't. How can you possibly expect equal outcomes?
My hairline's receding. Does that mean all men have to shave their heads,
We may get to that. To what end? I can't imagine.
I mean, this is like Kurt Vonnegut's classic short story, Harrison Bergeron, where indeed there was a handicapper in chief that because they were talented dancers, they were forced to wear ankle weights. Because they're talented singers, they were, some device on their throats. And people whose IQs were too high had to wear these headphones that distracted them and things like this. That's we thought it was fiction, and it wasn't meant to be a how-to guide. So Pillar 3 is, and this is in the news a lot just the last month, is ending diversity statements or any other statements of political coercion or loyalty oaths, for that matter. The Supreme Court has long said decades ago that loyalty oaths from public institutions are unconstitutional.
That's what it just seems illegal to me to force someone to sign something they don't agree with.
Coming up, university officials respond to two things. They respond to donors and they respond to publicity.
A few more minutes with Ilya Shapiro and Michelle Tafoya in the final segment of the Town Hall Review with Hugh Hewitt. Stay with us.
Carol Platt-Lebow for townhall.com, and they said it couldn't be done. Last week, a welcome outbreak of bipartisanship actually erupted on Capitol Hill in the News Select Committee on China. That was the good news. Unfortunately, the topic couldn't be more serious. At last, America's leadership class is openly confronting the economic, military, and technological threat we're facing from the Chinese Communist Party. As Committee Chairman Mike Gallagher noted, nothing less
George, he's got it.
Will control the world.
He's got it.
Given the menace China poses to fundamental freedoms.
Sorry about that. Yes, I got it.
A fractured, fractious humanity distracted by woke nonsense and petty greed.
Okay, let me turn this off. Okay, well, guess what? Emily 30 is gonna come to life. So what I gotta do? Gotta connect this guy. You have this wire that connects to this, and then this connects to the Emily 30, and then this guy connects to the radio. Yeah! Sorry about that. I'm just being over. Eventually, I have an adapter on. I just can't find it right now. So let's do this. I'm going to disconnect this one right here. You don't need this. Let me unplug this thing. It's in the way right here. Excuse me. Thank you very much. Oh. So let's disconnect this one. And we're going to connect this wire to the Emily 30. It's going to be kind of tricky to do this. There we go. Excuse me. Tangle up this little wire here. Okay, so we got that. We got that connection. Solid connection right. Excuse me. Solid connection right there. We got that. And now we have this antenna. Excuse me, with the lanyard. So we don't need this clip. Bye bye. What else? What the hell did I put my glasses around my collar? There we go. Okay. Yeah, because I want to start doing some Q-dosing. There we go. I'm going to close this telescoping whip. We don't need that because we're going to use the external. Ta-da! Let me see. Okay, okay, I got to see something. Hold on. Let me have a second here. Okay, so that goes all the way down. There. Okay. Okay, Big Shot Bob. All right, now the power cable for the excuse me. Power cable for the Emily 30. Here we go. Emily 30, next update, please. Put a USB-C. Much better than this micro. Next update of the next upgrade of the MLA30 USB-C connector. Thank you. That would really be splendid. Okay, let's get rid of the lanyard. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is, excuse me. I'll be right back.
But you are optimistic.
I have to go. Be right back.
I'm more optimistic than I was when I joined Manhattan Institute. When I left Georgetown, I thought academia was irredeemable. But, you know, in the long term, it could well be that as ordinary people, normal people who don't spend their lives focused on politics or, you know, living online, as they say, the laptop left, as it were, as they pay attention to what's going on, and they say, well, you know, no wonder those elite institutions are out of whack. It's because they're implementing all these policies that are racialist and just illiberal, just crazy, as you said. And as more and more people see that, there's a bit of this emperor has no clothes dynamic. Because there is an element, and I said this to you before we started as well, there's an element of a paper tiger. So these DEI projects seem just terribly fierce, and it's almost head-spinning, you know, how quickly they've come on.
Now, I know there's a setting
law school 20 years ago,
which I haven't really used.
It's really been in the last decade.
So let me figure this out.
For my latest book, which I'm writing,
I have to figure it off.
The title is Canceling Justice, the Illiberal Takeover of Legal Education. You know, really, it's been in the last few years where you have...
And then I'm going to have to look it up.
The vice president for DEI, the director of diversity...
No, not that. Not that. Not that. Oh, Jesus. Come on with that.
It could be that to push back on them,
yeah, that's mute.
That large plurality in the middle that otherwise just, you know, wants to be there to do their work, to get a job, to get...
Okay, let me check. Put the display on that for... If I take this out. Okay, so it's already... Okay. All right. So we can work with that. There we go. Fucking lanyard, gotta get in the way. Stupid fucking lanyard. Sorry. There we go. Now let's see. Go back and forth. Okay. All right. Now this radio seems to be more susceptible to
Coordinated Universal Time, 5 hours, 0 minutes.
The hell was that? Yeah, I'm using the MLA30, so that's why it's a little, but oh, here you go, I see the chat now. I'm doing the, this is the horizontal on my mobile phone. I finally figured out the horizontal live stream. So now I see the chat over here on this side comes up. And it disappears, which I hate. It just disappears. The chat. Wow. This is very interesting. I'm trying out these different formats. Let me expand the menu. Let me see what else is going on. So we have that. So I'm trying all this out, people. This is new to me, okay? I'm using my phone to stream, but I'm not doing this format. You know, the one you saw, the one you've been seeing all these days. I'm trying the vertical form, the horizontal format. This is the first time I'm doing horizontal on the phone live stream. So the chat just comes up and disappears. So if I don't keep up with the chat today, I'm sorry. I just want to test this out. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna go to
5 hours.
I'm gonna let it go up, see what happens. You know, this is all new to me. Okay, 4810, nada. See, the noise is very high. Yeah, I like the display. It's pretty cool. That's one of the things I do like about this radio. Okay, let me hear that for you. All right, let's see how. Let me center it for aesthetic reasons.
At the tone, 5 hours, 3 minutes.
Put the volume up. Then I'll do a medium wave band scan. I forgot how to turn off the amplifier in here because I'm using the MLA30, as you can see. So I hope it's not overloading. I think it is overloading a little bit, but let me see. I'm gonna start band scanning with this radio for the next couple of live streams, and then I'll do a review on it, like I've done for the previous radios. So I'm up late, of course, here in Yonkers, New York.
5 hours, 4 minutes. Coordinated universal time.
November 15, 2041. This will be broadcasting a Texas on Minnesota shower on WWD. Minnesota on WWD. Signal has been created to support an ionic field research. And there is going also is a ham radio citizen science investigation on LSD.
Oh, hello, Dream Trivet from Tennessee. I hope you're doing well. Okay, let me.
For things not made by him. Eternal in the heavens. Holy glory. So thanks of God. Thanks of the Most High.
Oh, hello, Gurf. Oh, so you bought one of those DP666 radios? Okay, cool. I'm sorry I can't read the whole chat because it disappears right away. Because I'm live streaming on my phone with the vertical format. It's my first time doing this. So the chat comes on and disappears. I don't have a chat screen that it stays on all the time. But I got the gist of it, Gurf. Yeah, I like that radio, the DP666 with the keypad. So it's basically this radio right here with a keypad. And it's pretty cool. So, yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, I like that radio.
The world would love you because you're not of the world.
Same chipset. Exactly.
Therefore, the world hated you.
Cool little radio, nice color display. Yeah, okay, now I can read. Yes, exactly. All right, cool.
World.
Cool
And they
girl.
hate those that are not of this way.
Then there is another group of people that I believe from this tribe that at the time of Deborah's charge to them, why is Dan staying in their ships? I believe
Hello, Ken
they had already
Martin.
become a sea people.
Hope you're doing well, my friend.
They were already traveling. And
Good
then,
morning.
of course, by the time you get to the later...
Yes, I wish they had single sideband.
Into the return of the people...
I believe the next version might have single sideband.
Through the Old Testament, Dan appears nowhere except for, of course, as I mentioned...
They contacted me a few months
in
ago
Ezekiel. So...
and told me they're going to send me...
Macedonia, D-O-N-D-A-N-D-I...
They contacted me a few months back and told me that since I'm so into, they love my videos on this radio. So when the new when the new one comes out, they're gonna send me one to test and review. So they are coming out with a new one.
Judah and the lion appearing on different flags. The serpent will be affiliated with Dan, and you'll find these will occur.
Yeah, it's not that good. Radio Havana's. Hold up. Oh my God, why did it do that? I'm trying to get the display light to stay on. Yeah, I forgot the menu. I forgot the menu settings on it. I'm sorry, people. I'm gonna go back there. Let me put it back here. I believe there's an option to keep the light, the backlight light on, but anyway, sorry.
At the clock, 5 hours, 11 minutes. Coordinated universal time.
So this video has so many settings. Anyway, let me shut up.
universal time.
Yeah, it has micro USB charging though. Yeah, that's one of the things I don't like about this radio. It has the micro USB. That's why I believe the next version is gonna be USB-C. So yeah, micro USB.
Ungodly. You end up listening to the counsel of the ungodly, you will be unjust. The problem is you're going to live in the midst of ungodly people, and you're going to convert them. You can bear.
Goes on to found the big city-state aims, and from all the pieces of information.
Radio Havana, Cuba. It sounds very muffled. Same here. Yeah, same here. I have external charges too. So it's not a big deal. It's not a deal breaker for me.
Radio network. 25% on Canada and 25% on Mexico. 1010 Toronto. The tariff came into that. They say if you talk about it, you feel better. Let's see what you have to say. Anything Haiti, we doing it on purpose to get out of the tariff. How would you enforce
at 4. Needs to work better at 4 kilohertz. But it sounds like I'm getting some bleed through. Yeah, so that's better. Okay, I don't want to get no copyright.
L'attaque avec cette ligne vantée l'indépendance contre la solidarité aux fragiles et composée du gouvernement de François Bayrou. Alors il saute sur toutes les balles, notamment celle offerte sur un plateau par Bruno Retailleau le week-end dernier. Ce dernier menace désormais de démissionner de son poste si, dit-il, la France cède sur le dossier algérien dans lequel, on le rappelle, il entend mener un bras de fer à travers une riposte dite graduée, allant jusqu'à la dénonciation des accords de mai 1968, ce qui n'est pas sans risque, puisque le président Macron n'est pas forcément favorable, du moins publiquement, à une telle action. Laurent Wauquiez s'en saisit dans une interview au Parisien. L'exécutif, je cite, a choisi de capituler avant même de combattre. Si le président refuse...
Area in the whole world. In Siberia, for example, I saw 2 people. One is a woman. She has lived there 70 years and still lives there. In Siberia's coldest areas, in the wilderness. And she used to be there alone because all the family died. The reason her family went there was because the country was under Stalin. And the family was so scared of this regime under Stalin that they left the city, left wherever they were, and just went deep into the wild.
It's further proof of the challenges the Lebanese government faces in trying to exert control over areas in the south of the country, where militants have been active for decades. Meanwhile, in Israel, the opposition leaders primary programs will let Netanyahu disobey the Supreme Court and with only intelligence chief, there should be objectives. You're listening to the newsroom here on the BBC World Service with me, Chris Ball, and the time is coming up to 5:28. Francis will be discharged from hospital on Sunday after 5 weeks of treatment. He's been suffering from a severe respiratory infection. The
post has been showing improvement over recent days, but the active abilities are showing an improvement in stability of his health. And the doctors who've been treating him at the main hospital in Rome have thought that the Pope was now able to be discharged from Frederick. He has had a very serious crisis during the time he was in hospital. He was what they call a life-threatening episode. Everybody intubated, and he'd always remained continuously. Now they say bu paralar verilen paralar, yani parayla ilgili soruşturma ceza mahkemesinde devam edecek Hakan ve böylelikle kurulsal olmadığı için herhangi bir sayı masama gündeme gelmeyecek önümüzdeki günlerde.
O zaman bir hafta önceki gündemimize geri dönelim. Tabii bu devam ediyor. PKK'nın fethi için kongre tarihinin açıklaması beklemekten Cumhurbaşkanı Erdoğan da Nevruz kutlamalarına katıldı. Bu fetih durumunu nasıl değerlendirirsiniz? Sizce çok mu beklendi?
Evet, aslında devletin terör örgütüne çok kısa bir süre verdiğini söyleyebiliriz ki bu süreci yakından takip edebiliyorsunuz. Ne kadar PKK kendi kongresini toplayacak olsa da bu süreç aslında devletin gözetiminde.
Not too much
В
music.
новій формі. Варто зауважити, що якщо це відбудеться, це буде перша прилюдна поява папи Франциска за час його госпіталізації. Після того, як минулої неділі, 16 березня, було поширене перше фото. Папа Франциск вже проводив недільну молитву в лікарні. Сталося це 11 липня 2021 року, коли йому зробили планові операцію на кишківнику. Заявив Павло II 22 рази проводив недільну молитву з цієї лікарні, або записавши слово, що це сталося на площі Святого Петра, або ж промовляючи з вікна палати. Суботу 22 березня на площі Святого Петра у Ватикані кардинал Домініко Басилі, архієпископ Неаполя, очолив святу месу для вірних цієї італійської архідієцезії, які дійсно просто з нагоди святого року. З нагоди цього ювілейного паломництва папа Франциско звернувся до них з вітальним посланням, яке кардинал Домініко зачитав ордій характерним богослужінням. У ньому він наголошує на важливості бути об'єднаними в любові. Доставання святішого отця і візуальні дії соціальні паломництва виражають єдність, яка гуртує християнську громаду навколо пастиря та єпископа Риму. Любов поколінь вона об'єднання і сприяє нашому спільному зростанню. Ось чому, хоч і різними шляхами, вона привела нас сюди до грубого апостола Петра, звідки ви можете повернутися ще сильнішими у вірі та ще більш згуртованого любові до ближнього, пише папа. Він дякує за молитовну близькість під час його госпіталізації, просить і надалі молитися за нього. Хоча я не можу бути фізично присутнім серед вас, я висловлюю свою велику радість.
Yeah, because nowadays we are not at war. You can have a taxi, you can go anywhere by foot and come back. Or you order online and you give an address. Even if you don't have car or you can't get taxi, you can give an address and then you stay there, wait for it to come and bring your food home. Yeah, from there, come back with a taxi or maybe just walk home with the trolley. Even also such an inconvenience, like no hot water. But I'm happy. If I don't have any duty anywhere, I wouldn't want to go anywhere. I wouldn't want to exchange this life for anything else. But please, don't follow me. Don't copy me, okay? You have to have strong will. And there is also unsafety. There are also risks living in the wilderness, okay? And inconveniences in many ways. You have to truly pay attention to every detail and feel strong inside. Otherwise, you might forget something and get sick. And it's very difficult to recover. It's not a physical thing that I worry about. That's right. Over 2 times, over 3 times, over 4 times higher. So, it's just...
Do you have any idea why these messages are not getting sent?
Oh, we have been talking, and when I say we, Marty House speaks, we know about this. Non-Marty House speaks know about this. But now you've got a really highly takeoff.
All right. Okay, so now I'm gonna try medium wave, and we're just gonna scan through the medium wave band. I know there's a couple of options here I can do. I can shut off. There is a built-in amplifier on this radio, so maybe that's why. But right now, it looks like the amplifier by default is off, if I remember. But I can't remember which setting it is, and I don't want to start messing with it. And I need to go back to the manual. Well, not the manual. Website or whatever. I'll get the information on that for the next live stream. But right now, it looks like the amplifier is off because I'm using the MLA30. And you don't want to have the amplifier here on and the MLA30 because that's two amplifiers, and that'll overload a lot. But right now, it seems that the amplifier on the external is turned off by default, if I remember. I just forgot how to access it. If anybody can post it in the comment, maybe. But right now, it seems to be working fine. So I'm just going to go through the medium wave band. And
two things that hit a family budget the hardest: the price of gas and of groceries.
So let me go down for a minute. Okay, so nothing there.
Back for the third straight year, the grand prize winner gets $2,500.
Postal claims the red cross is not due, but it's not doing enough to bring about their release. So that's a major lawsuit. So what's your response? What's the Red Cross's response to that?
Listen, I can't comment on any legal proceedings. That's not my role. My role is to speak out about the importance of giving this humanitarian aid to everyone that needs it, including hostages. That's a core part of our mission, and we're going to continue to
WSNR, local station.
Families. Delivered to your door. That's Bay Ridge Mazda, 4th Avenue and 90th Street in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn.
Welcome to Staples.
I hear Staples prints it all for any business.
You bet. And we'll beat any print quote.
So if I had a pizza place...
Staples can print signs, menus, pizza boxes.
Landscaping business?
Oh, we can print yard signs, t-shirts, brochures.
How about a pizza/landscaping business? I'll call it Dough and Mo.
I like it.
Right now at Staples, get up to 200
their children receive a quality faith-based education.
I'll do auto.
Participating.
Yeah, I'll do auto.
You, your family, your community. I'm Jesus Islam.
Especially on the lower portion of the medium wave band.
Is your life, would you want to have a surgery that's unnecessary when you can get better testing that might give you a better chance to get a better treatment and avoid an unnecessary treatment? Most logical people would say, yes.
WOR.
I want to know where.
So this supposed to be Zoomer radio. It sounds a little faint.
He's not going to touch it. He said it during the campaign.
WABC.
But the looks of it is a little suspicious now. So who's going to bet?
I'll leave it on 790 for a minute. I have no idea what this is. Normally on 790 I get well, not recently, but I used to get Radio Reloj from Cuba. Recently I have gotten Miami, Florida, WAXY, I believe. So there is a carrier there. I just can't make out what it is. All right. 800 usually CKLW out of Canada.
Representative, not with any of his ministers on the issue.
NPR station WNYC, and after midnight is the BBC World Service.
are working to contain the spill with floating barriers in the Coca River. Live from London, I'm David Harper, and that's the latest BBC News. Welcome to the documentary from the BBC World Service. I'm health correspondent Matthew Hill, and for the past year I've been investigating an intoxicating substance that's killing thousands of people around the world.
I'd met Simone in Cambodia, and we went over to Laos together.
This is Bethany, who last November had been travelling with friends around Southeast Asia.
We met our other friend David in the hostel.
One of the perks of staying at the hostel was that every night between, I think it was 8 p.m. and 10 p.m, they offered free shots, so free vodka and whiskey.
So we had shots of those, and we poured them into like Sprite, so we had them as mixed drinks.
Went to bed, woke up, felt a little bit hungover, didn't feel particularly like anything was wrong at that stage.
Through that day, I just felt really, really fatigued.
We were getting a minivan back to the capital, Vientiane. That's when things kind of started to go a bit downhill.
I hear David say, you need to get off, Simone's being sick, so I got off the bus, fainted myself, hit my head, and then we all got back on the bus.
Getting struck down with a mystery illness in the middle of nowhere is everyone's worst nightmare. But for British backpackers Bethany Clark, Simone White and David Richards, the source of their sickness was a ticking time bomb.
David realised there was something wrong, so that's when he said, right, we need to go to hospital.
I looked at the blood test slip that we received afterwards, and the diagnosis, actually, the doctor had written food poisoning.
Simone's condition deteriorated and she struggled with breathing.
I just felt something was off. I thought this isn't food poisoning. So I called up a private hospital, who then eventually came with an ambulance, picked us all up. And as soon as we got there, blood tests were run, and I think within, must have been about 30, 40 minutes, one of the doctors came out and actually said, we've detected quite significant metabolic acidosis of your blood, which is indicative of methanol poisoning.
I knew it!
The substance I've been investigating is methanol, a toxic liquid that had poisoned Bethany, David and Simone, who was experiencing the most intense symptoms of the three.
By this point, her breathing was, she was distressed. And her eyes, she wasn't able to focus properly on me. She was sort of looking like a vacant sort of expression. And yeah, I think that was probably when she sort of left us, really.
Bethany contacted Simone's mother, Sue, back in the UK, who was then asked by the hospital to give permission for Simone to have neurosurgery to reduce pressure on her brain.
I sent all the consent forms off and everything in the middle of the night, and then got on the flight
brain
next
swelling
morning
too?
and flew over
Oh my God!
Which is just horrific. And then I basically got to the hospital at Sunday lunchtime as she was being wheeled into the operating theatre. And that's when she was having the surgery, so that had been severely delayed as well. I mean, I think it was too late anyway, but, there was a severe delay on the brain surgery. It still kind of feels surreal in a way, it just doesn't feel like it's really happened. Yeah, it's just difficult to come to terms with it all.
Tragically, methanol was to claim Simone's life, as well as the lives of 5 other backpackers staying in the hostel from the US, Denmark and Australia. It was no surprise when it made international headlines. A 6th tourist has died after drinking alcohol tainted with a substance called methanol. It's believed guests at a backpackers hostel were given free shots of vodka.
There you go. This is basically what was been going on for years. It happened in Dominican Republic, actually. When you travel, I've seen YouTubers do this, and I look at them like they're fucking nuts. When you travel, do not drink the alcohol in the streets. Like if somebody offer you a shot, it's probably, moonshine tainted with like methanol, some crazy, some kind of, unless you go to, a bar that they have order something that's common like Bacardi, Grey Goose. When you start let me try your local drink. No, don't do that, people. Don't do that because some of that stuff, they cut it. They cut the alcohol with ethanol or some other stuff, and that's what's killing people. This is what it's all about. I heard about this. This happened in the Dominican Republic with a bunch of tourists a few years ago. It's crazy. I don't mess with the local alcohol stuff. Hell no. I would. Plus, I don't travel anywhere. But if I did, I would never drink local alcohol. Sorry.
More brain damage. Professor Hofda spends much of his time traveling around the world, helping to deal with outbreaks of methanol poisoning that don't necessarily get the same international attention. Who brought them to hospital? This is him in Laos after he traveled out there to help following Simone's death.
And when they were sent to Vientiane, also her friend got sick.
He's also compiled a database going back 25 years, documenting more than 1,000 outbreaks across the world.
This is still probably only the tip of the iceberg. We know that there is so many more, but these are the ones that we have encountered, and it's like it never ends, this.
And are there any particular countries that sort of stick out?
In terms of incidents, Indonesia is way on the top of that list.
341 outbreaks.
Outbreaks that we have encountered, whereas India is about 134, and then Russia 117.
Pakistan 49, then Bangladesh 42. Is there any kind of pattern you see in terms of the relationship these countries have with alcohol?
In general, it's like the more available it is, the more likely you are to be poisoned. Whereas when it comes to methanol and alcohol as well, but especially methanol, if there is a black market because there are limited availability, for instance, if it's culturally or religiously not accepted, we'll see many of these countries having a lot of incidents or outbreaks of methanol poisoning.
So what is methanol? Well, it's an alcohol like the familiar ethanol we consume in drinks like whiskey. But while ethanol has 2 carbon atoms, methanol only has 1. And the end product, after the body has metabolized it, is highly toxic. Like ethanol, methanol is a colorless, flammable liquid that both smells and tastes very similar. It's also widely available in industrial products, all of which makes it an attractive option to bootleggers who mix it into drinks, often in countries where alcohol is too expensive or hard to
mix it, they cut it.
And once it's been mixed in, it has devastating effects on those who end up drinking it.
These are people that nobody cares about. And I know that if we can together try to make an effort, it does not require very much to save a whole lot of people's life. And I think very often we focus on, okay, how many cases are there? Well, we don't know. Secondly, these cases are not the only one that is affected because their families, the children who is orphanaged, or the families when the breadwinner disappears, or the community where the young people are just disappearing. That's a tremendous problem for them as well. And for every single patient that we see or hear about, God knows how many there really are.
Professor Hofda is working with the humanitarian charity Médecins Sans Frontières, or Doctors Without Borders.
All right. Anyway, I heard enough of that. Yeah, so I heard about this years ago. I think it was a Dominican Republic. It was in a resort. Basically, what they do is they take that methanol and they mix it. For example, like, alcohol is, some countries are a little expensive, especially like, rum, whiskey, vodka, that kind of thing. So they use that methanol, they mix it in there to cut it. And in this case, what happened, this was a hostel, and they offered free drinks. And the people that were staying in the hostel drank it. And of course, in that particular case, she died. You got to be careful when you travel. I seen YouTubers, those travel log YouTubers. I know there's one in particular. He takes shots from the street. People drinking in the street, and he'll and they offer him a drink and he just drinks it. I would never do that. I would never, because you don't know. First of all, you don't know what they put in it. They can lace it with something to knock you out and to rob you. Number one, or kidnap you, whatever. Number two, it could be laced with the poison, because that's what it is. That's a poison. Methanol, like the guy just said. You just heard it. It becomes toxic when your liver try to metabolize that alcohol. It's not really alcohol, it's methanol, which is deadly. So you got to be careful, people, when you travel out there. You just can't drink, just like you can't drink the local water, you cannot drink the local alcohol. You can't. Because you're playing with your life. So, if you're going to go to a bar, make sure, it's a bar that everybody goes to. It's a popular bar for tourists. And it's the drinks that, for example, if you want whiskey, make sure it's a whiskey that it's like a brand. If they come up with we have our local, Vietnamese whiskey. Nah, that's okay. I'm going to stay away from that. Because you don't know what's in there. You don't know. And you can't take that chance. It's nuts. I first heard about this a few years ago, and it was in the Dominican Republic. And of course, they got prosecuted. It was a resort in the Dominican Republic where they were serving methanol. They mixed it with the alcohol in the bottle just to save money. And I believe like 6 people died in that resort. And that's when I first heard about it. I was like, wow. And yeah, that's nuts. Not that I travel. I don't travel anyway. But if I did travel, you got to be alert to all this stuff. You have to. It's crazy.
Patients have been admitted. Probably you noticed 2 policemen were sitting.
CJBC out of Canada. All right, that's local.
Hand, chest, thighs.
970 the answer.
And he was treated with a resection
Local.
of his nose with a.
$990. I'm not familiar with. I'm not sure. I don't have a computer in front of me, so I can't. You can barely hear it. And this is WBZ.
The first case last May.
Out of Boston.
Staffers at the Youth Development Center of sexual or physical abuse between 1997 and 2000. 4 of them have faced criminal charges, with 2 going to trial so far.
Not the best signal.
Allowing Iowa to run free and get layup after layup.
Indeed, the freshman Ava Hayden scored.
ESPN Radio local here in New York City.
Pass number 11 seed Murray State 92-57, scored a season high in points. First tournament win for first-year coach Jen.
Hello, Matthew. Yo.
Effort. Painstaking.
This is WWVA out of West Virginia.
To the things that our heart desires. That is diligence. That's the perfect definition. Antonyms are lazy, idle, slothful or slowful, whatever how you say it.
It's a good signal.
It's not diligent.
Out of West Virginia.
Unwilling to work or to use energy. Not diligent.
WWVA.
Right? So we've got a good idea what diligence. All you have to remember is the things you want, how you go after it. And that's diligence. If you ever forget what diligence means. Hallelujah. Now, be diligent to remember that.
Of course, that's overcoming ministry. 1170 out of West Virginia.
I'm going to read a little bit more.
Henceforth there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, shall give me at that day. There is a day, you know. When the world shall be judged by the man.
It's local station, and I don't want to get copyright. WPHC out of Philly.
Because they were selling 200 one-gallon bottles a day. The people were coming to their office and filling up water, standing in line, paying $2 a gallon to take this water home because it was helping them. So it's like, okay, if no one understands what's going on, I was saying that I would be I got to be engaged with the kids, make sure I'm in tune with what they're doing. I think if I could wind the clock back, that would be an area I would have been more diligent and we would have said, oh, thank you, Lord. Right?
Hello, James Farley. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, I'm just gonna be on for a few. I've been on for an hour already. I'm trying out this vertical format on my phone. Yeah, I figured it out finally that when I stream off my phone, I can do it vertically instead of horizontal. I mean, horizontal format instead of vertical. This is horizontal. Sorry. So I figured it out. There's a little setting. There's a little button that you press and you can turn it. Excuse me. Into horizontal format using your phone. So I'll look at the replay, see how the quality is and all that. I kind of like this format better.
You know, it comes out. Y'all know if you're doing things with your screen.
Well, with this radio, I'm okay. You know, I'm okay with this radio. In terms of sausage fingers. And I got it hooked up with the MLA30, as you can see. So I found the adapter. So I'm trying it out. And I'll be doing I'll do a few more streams with this radio, and then I'll do a final review because I want to review this radio. I want to do a review of this radio, but I want to do a whole bunch of streams, at least a few streams with it before I make my review. Yeah, I think the D86, the D286 is probably the best band radio. It is. But I just noticed a couple of things about this radio compared to this radio, which I'm going to cover in the review. I do notice a couple of things about it. So it is a very good radio. Don't get me wrong. I love this radio. But there is a couple of little caveats that I'm noticing.
Y mañana se juega ante Cholos de Tijuana. Mañana. Okay. That's right.
So that's Radio Wado, WADO out of New York City.
Información se juega en San Diego, California. El partido 3:30.
So much more to do with the outcome of the football game than any other position. That's why
So I went through it, but it's not picking up anything right now. Maybe it's just tonight. Conditions are not the best.
El círculo de amigos de Radio
cristiana, después de Dios es el sostén principal de este ministerio. Los hermanos y hermanas que pertenecen
Now, this is local. This is Radio Visión Cristiana. So yeah, I haven't heard any Cuban stations yet.
engrandece a Radio Visión.
Cristo es un gran milagro para aquella gente.
Yeah, no, I actually I actually watched a little bit. I went in there and I kind of watched the I believe it was the fourth hour. He was mentioning something about it. I just said, okay, whatever. You know, I'm not gonna be. I don't want to keep. I'm not gonna keep. I'm not gonna bash him or anything. It's just that. Oh my God, here we go. It's just like they keep going on with the VOA thing. I'll just talk about one thing about Voice of America. I saw that stat about it reaches over 200 million. Right, it reaches over 210 million, whatever the number is. If you break that down into a pie chart, Shortwave is not 200 million. Shortwave probably covers maybe 10%. 10%. Most of the VOA engagements is through the internet because they do streaming, right? VOA does streaming. They also have a YouTube channel and they do video. They have a video like a podcast. They have podcasts. So a lot of that big number, that's 210 million reach, it's internet. It's not shortwave. It's not shortwave. I'm going to be generous and give it 10%. Maybe 10%. Not even. You know what? I'm not even going to give it 10%. I'm going to give it like 5%. And that's being generous. If you look at the a big pie chart, all the VOA traffic or what is it? What do they call that? What's the word for it? Like engagements. It's internet. It's internet. It's, believe me, because I have the live TV app, and they have a VOA channel. There is a channel, a video. You know, they have a channel. They have their own channel, and it's on. You know, it's on satellite. I don't know if it's on. I don't know if it's on satellite. I know it's internet. I know YouTube. I know they have a VOA YouTube channel. They have video feeds on VOA. It's a lot of it is video. So, when he throws out that number 200 million, it's not 200 million shortwave listeners. That's a lie. That's a lie. Okay? And one thing that is true that I like, for example, Radio Free Europe, there is talk that the European Union is going to pick that up. And they should. They should. Why should we pay for that? Let the European Union pay for that, right? It's only fair. And same thing with Taiwan, right? Or Thailand and all those countries. For Radio Free Asia, someone should pick up the tab for that. And again, I keep going back to what I say. They can still do VOA. It's not at the taxpayer's expense. Nobody's stopping them from funding their own stuff. That's all. But, he doesn't want to say it in his live stream that he has Trump derangement syndrome. That's all it is. He has Trump derangement syndrome, TDS, and that's it. Just like, for example, about Elon Musk, right? You know, I'm a geek. I'm a geek. I consider myself a geek. He considers himself a geek. But now you hate Elon Musk. You can't put your political thing aside. To you know, Elon Musk to me is one of the greatest minds in this century. Right? The man, of course, we all remember him from he started PayPal. PayPal. He has a lot of great American companies. SpaceX, Tesla, Starlink. Right? What else? He has a Neuralink. It's called Neuralink. Is he one? You know, the brain chip. He's trying to cure blindness with the Neuralink. Make people see again. He's people that are paralyzed with Neuralink. He's trying to make them walk again. You understand what I'm saying? This man is a national treasure, but the left demonizing him now. You see how he was the darling of the left before he bought Twitter? He was the darling of the left. Oh, EV mandate, Mr. EV, he's gonna, you know, we love Elon Musk. Now they hate him. They openly calling out for, you know, I can't say it here because I don't want to get my, but you know what I'm saying. They openly calling out for to harm the man. And let's also talk about what he's done. Exactly, he thinks out the box. Also, California wildfires. He gave them Starlink for communication. You know, I don't want to hear about amateur radio shit. I'm sorry. I don't want to hear about amateur radio operators came to the rescue. No. Elon came to the rescue with Starlink for the California wildfire victims. North Carolina, same thing. Starlink. Okay, I don't want to hear about amateur radio operators. I don't know. Fuck you. I don't want to hear that shit. Elon. Starlink. Video conferencing and all that shit. When they had no kind of communications out there in North Carolina. And last but not least, he rescued 2 astronauts that were stranded up there for 9 months. He rescued them. This man should get the Nobel Peace Prize and the Medal of Freedom for what he's done for this country. And the Nobel Peace Prize for what he's done around the world. Okay? We're talking about Africa, you know, remote parts, Starlink. This man should have the Nobel Peace Prize. But yet the left want to demonize him. So this fucker doesn't understand that because he's blinded. He's blinded by Trump derangement syndrome. And that's what happens to a lot of people on the left. They're suffering from Trump derangement syndrome. And they want to throw Elon, they want to demonize him. That's all it is. They cannot be objective. You understand the left they can never be objective. They can't. That's why, you know, when he was putting those rants on Facebook, I had to cut him off. And he sits there on his live stream being a hypocrite. You're a hypocrite. I'm sorry. You're not a geek. Because a geek recognizes the genius in Elon. Forget about political shit. The geek recognizes what the man has done for humanity. And we're trying to go to Mars. We are trying to go to Mars. He wants to go to Mars. How can you not applaud that? But the left is so emotional and so crazy about Trump. Anything associated with Trump, they're going to hate you. That's it. Trump derangement syndrome. It's a real mental condition. It really is. It is. Oh, and by the way, he owns X. This man is a fucking genius. But the left want to demonize anybody that agrees with, and what he's doing with Doge, he's uncovering all the wasteful spending that our country is doing. And that's why they hate him. Because you know why? A lot of that is going into their pockets. You don't think there's a lot of corruption in this country? Of course there's a lot of corruption in this country. And he's exposing it. And that's why they hate him. Because they're all getting caught in the hand, in the cookie jar. That's why they hate him. Because they all got busted. They're all getting exposed. And this guy in Canada doesn't know, he doesn't know fucking shit about what's going on in this country. He doesn't know. He doesn't know jack shit. And I'm talking about being a fucking hypocrite about Elon. Okay, Elon is a fucking genius. He is a national treasure in this country. The man is a hero. Okay? He's a hero. And when all is said and done, that man is going to win the Nobel Peace Prize. And I put it on X the other day. He should get the Medal of Freedom just for bringing the astronauts home. That's it. I'm ranting here. I don't know what time it is right now. I can't see the time here. My wife is upset, probably saying, what the hell's wrong with this guy in the boiler room? And I'm ranting away right now. But that's the truth. That man deserves the Medal of Freedom. Unlike Obama for doing nothing. This man has done more for humanity than, I can't remember the last person that done so much for humanity. I really can't. I can't remember. Correct me if I'm wrong here. Yeah, but two of them were stranded. Remember, two of them were stranded, and he had Biden had a chance to bring them home earlier, but he didn't, because once Elon started supporting Trump, he turned it political. He said Elon offered him months ago to bring them down, and he just flat out gave him the cold shoulder. So this guy, he rants about VOA. Nobody gives a fuck VOA. 200 million, it's 200 million, whatever the fucking number is a small percentage. And I'm being generous, maybe 5%. I'm gonna say maybe even 1% was shortwave. Okay, so that's bullshit. Okay, and I'm gonna go a step further. Go look at any video of. You know what? Let me start with Cuba. I watch vlogs. I watch travel logs. When you see people walking in Cuba in the streets, are they walking with radios? Are they walking with radios? No, they have phones. They're walking with phones. And the same thing when you see those people, the migrants coming over the border. A lot of them already have phones. It don't matter what country you come on, third world country, come on, Guatemala or Nicaragua or Congo or Nigeria. What they all have in common, they have a phone. So all this bullshit about, they can't reach Africa. Yeah, Africa's by phone. Everybody has a phone now. Even the most remote third world countries, they have phones, believe it or not. They have enough infrastructure to have a phone. Exactly. Exactly. Have you noticed all the migrants have new clothes and nice clothes? Yeah, of course. All these NGOs, non-government organization, of course, a lot of it was funded by the United States. And they all have phones, smartphones. Okay, smartphones. You know, I watch all these travel guys. They go like to Cuba, to Nigeria, to Vietnam, Cambodia. They all have fucking phones now. Everybody has a fucking phone. Everybody has a fucking phone. So I don't want to hear this shit about, oh my God, shortwave propaganda. That's bullshit. That's fucking bullshit. That's bullshit. Okay? He's not. I don't want to hear about this Cold War or I know somebody said something about, oh, there's different players down the Cold War. That's bullshit. First of all, this man's trying to bring peace. He didn't mention that he's trying to bring peace between Ukraine and Russia. He didn't mention that. Of course he didn't mention that because he fucking hates them so much. He hates Trump so much. He didn't mention that. He's the only person that's trying to bring peace. Before that, we had Biden for 4 years. He didn't try to bring peace. So he's talking with Trump derangement syndrome. So that's why you can't take him seriously, because he's blinded by TDS. Okay, so that's bullshit about the 200 million whatever plus reach. Yeah, a lot of it is video streaming or television. It's not shortwave. Shortwave, maybe 1% of the 200 million. Maybe. Exactly. All Trump wants to do is stop the killing. Yeah, so sorry, the chat comes in and fades out. You know? Now, I watched a little bit of it, and I saw some what he said. I just said, yeah, forget what this guy's blinded by Trump derangement syndrome. You know? And the whole tariff thing, we just want our first share. That's it. You know, if you're going to charge us 200% for U.S. Farmers to sell milk in Canada, it's only fair that Canada pays the same amount for their milk coming back to America. It's fair. What? I don't understand the problem with that. That's what all he's trying to point out. He's not trying to start a war with Canada. He just wants his fair share. You know, they're ripping us off. And he doesn't understand that because he's blinded by, TDS. Same thing with the world, the rest of the world about a tariff. No, the world's been ripping us off for too long. And people don't understand that. You understand? Just like, somebody posted, it was on another video that, Canada's canceling all vacation plans. We don't need you, Canada. Sorry, we do not need you. We don't need you. We don't need you. You need us more than what we need you. We do not need you. Get that shit through your fucking dickhead. We do not need you. Just like Europe, we don't need, they needed us in World War II. And they needed us to, peace to strength and all that. That's all he's trying to do. But pay your fair fucking share. That's the point. That's all he's doing. He just wants the world to pay their fair fucking share. Okay? That's it. And people don't understand that. Why should we keep paying, subsidizing for especially countries that don't even like us? And that's what I voted for. That's what a lot of people voted for, is to stop this. We could better use of that money and take care of our own people. We got people in the street here that, you know what, they need help. You know, especially, you know, veterans and all that, you know, whatever. You know? Improve our standard of living here in America. Why should my money go to somewhere else where it's not helping us here? Are you fucking kidding me? He doesn't fucking understand that. And he's not going to understand that because when you suffer from TDS, you're not going to understand that. Your mind is, you know, fucked up with TDS. I'll be right back. Let me go get a beer. I'll be right back. TDS. Oh, great, 2:15. You know, if you could be honest and objective, I will listen. But he's not, because once he posted that rant about, you know, anybody that voted for him, unfriend me. That means, you know what, you're too emotional. I don't want to be associated with people that are too fucking emotional and can't think for themselves. And then they fall into that trap, you know, they with the herd mentality. And then I saw people in there with the herd mentality. Of course, I don't want to be associated with that. And let me tell you something. The best thing I did was unfriend him. Left the group because the group is toxic. It's a toxic group, let's face it. And then I unsubbed and everything. And then people that were, you know, most of his biggest followers, you know, suck ups, I got rid of all of them too. That's what I did. Best thing ever. Now, much better. You know, because you know what? If you're gonna let politics dictate, in other words, don't say you're not political when you're political behind the scenes, especially on Facebook. You know, like when he said, "Oh, you know," I heard that part when he said, "Oh, Facebook. Oh, I know people that don't want to be on Facebook anymore because it's too crazy." And please, I endured. Listen, I endured. I grew up in the Vietnam War. I was a young kid. Vietnam War. We went through that. Okay, we went through that Vietnam War. We went through the Cold War. We went through 9/11. We went through 20 years of Afghanistan / Iraq. Okay, and this man, all he's trying to do is end all that pattern. Yeah, he gets the most demonized man on the planet for trying to create peace. These fucking people are nuts. They're nuts. That's all I can say about it. They're just fucking nuts. And the thing is that they're I can agree with disagree. They can't. You have to agree with them 100%, or you get canceled out. You know? Like, people don't know the truth about Ukraine and Russia. People think that Russia just invaded it. No, if you look further into that, this goes back a long way. This goes back to the breakup of the Soviet Union. What happened between them? And I'm not going to get into it here. But go look it up. Go look it up. And I already told you about Ukraine. Before the invasion, Ukraine it still is one of the most corrupt countries in the world. This is before the conflict. Everybody knew that. If you didn't know that, you was hiding under a fucking rock. Okay? Ukraine is one of the most corrupt countries in the world, especially after the breakup of the Soviet Union. Okay? Go look it up. Go look it up. Go look it up. Believe me. This is the country that invented mail order brides. That says it all. They scam so many Western men in that country. Oh, they want to hook up with a young Ukrainian bride, a Ukrainian woman. They invented mail order brides. You know, this blind loyalty for Ukraine is fucking nuts. It really is. It's nuts. You know, I'm not pro-Russian, but I'm saying don't think that Ukraine is just squeaky clean. They're not. They're not. I'm telling you that. I've known that for years. I've known that. You know, but you can't say that because, oh my God, you're pro-Russia. No. No. Now go look it up. Go do some digging on that. And you'll see what I'm talking about. You see what happened. You know, people don't know that they had an agreement. That they had an agreement that, you know, I'm gonna go through it real quick. And it's more than that, but I'll go through it real quick. After the breakup of the Soviet Union, eventually Ukraine wanted to be independent. I said, Russia said, okay, well, you be independent, but, you know, they signed some kind of deal that if their government, blah, 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 you know. Basically, they signed an agreement. And by the way, Ukraine had nuclear missiles, and in return, Ukraine returned, you know, because they did have nuclear missiles after the Soviet breakup, but they couldn't use them. They didn't have the control for the nuclear missiles. So Russia said, okay, give us back our missiles, and we'll give you some protection. And I'm being very, very loose here. I'm being very loose here. I have worked that some Ukrainian men, they back up what you say. Yeah, I'm telling you. And they made an agreement. The name of the agreement escapes me in the top of my head, but there is an agreement that they made. And Ukraine said, okay, well, we're going to give you our nuclear missiles because we can't do nothing with them anyway. Although they did sell some of them in the black market. So some of those, when the United States, it was a coalition back then when during the Soviet breakup, I know Ukraine had the most. If Ukraine would have kept the missiles, they would have been the fourth largest nuclear stockpile in the world. That's how many missiles they had in Ukraine. I think they would have been like number 4 in the world. But they made an agreement. They said, "Oh, you know, we're gonna give you guys can take all the missiles." Blah 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 blah. I'm just going through this very quickly. This will take a long time. So in return, you guys are gonna protect us from anybody else that try to, And Russia said, "Okay, we're gonna protect you, but in agreement, you cannot go join NATO." That's the biggest thing they basically said. Because at that time, already a few countries were already going into, they were already honeymooning with NATO. And Putin made it clear, like, back off. And NATO didn't back off. NATO kept fucking around. NATO kept fucking around with Putin. Especially Ukraine. Ukraine is still, And basically that's what happened. And then finally, not the previous president, but Zelensky openly said he was going to go to NATO, and that was the straw that broke the camel's back. I'm doing it in a nutshell here. I know there's a lot more to fill in, but that's basically what happened. And Putin said, fuck no, you're not going to NATO. We have an agreement, and you're going to break that agreement. Well, guess what? We're going to fucking, and that's what happened. That's basically in a nutshell what happened. So it's not that just Russia went in and invaded. It's they had an agreement that goes back to the Soviet breakup. That Russia was going to protect, providing that the country, oh, by the way, providing that the government of Ukraine is stable. Which a couple of times they had. So that was another condition. Same thing what happened with Crimea. And that's why they annexed Crimea. The government of Crimea is an autonomous little country in Crimea. It says part of Ukraine, but it's kind of not really part of Ukraine. It's kind of quasi, semi-state of Russia / Ukraine. And what happened with that local government there in Crimea? Same thing. They were not stable. So Russia said, okay, we're not gonna support this unstable government shit. They went in there and they said, okay, we're annexing Crimea. That's the issue with that one. Like I said, I can go on and on with this, and it's do your research, people. Do your research. That's what I'm saying. But I know for a fact, and I've just been going on for many, many years, that Ukraine is a corrupt country. Very corrupt. Believe me. And you don't think they're taking a lot of that money that we're sending them for weaponry? When you see these videos that, you see people, Zelensky's bought a new yacht. He has like this 110-foot yacht and all this stuff. Why the fuck does he have a fucking 100-foot yacht? Or whatever the fuck it is. Come on. And a measly, so-called government salary. Give me a fucking break. He's fucking skimming some of that money. Skimming money, Come on. And people got fed up with that. But, people want you to believe otherwise. So I voted for Trump to get rid of wasteful spending. And there's going to be a lot of collateral damage. And some of it, you might not like. But I'd rather go through the pain and balance the budget and get rid of the unnecessary waste. Because at the rate we're going now with the spending, we're going to bankrupt our country. So if the rest of the world doesn't like us, I'm sorry. I don't give a fuck. I live in this country. I got to care about this country. And if it means you're going to balance the budget by cutting off a lot of shit, then so be it. And with the tariff stuff, yeah, we want our fair share. And with NATO, whatever, shut up, whatever. I don't care. You don't like it, just leave the fucking channel. I don't give a shit. Okay? Exactly. All the sacrifices we made in World War II. Go to the other guy in Canada. Go to his channel. Well, I'm not here for you. I'm not here to serve you with your shortwave fixes. Get out of here. Dumbass. And my thing is, like I said, we voted to get rid of this wasteful spending. And that's the bottom line. And also, what's fair is fair. And that's it. And he doesn't understand that. He does not understand that. So cheers. Let me see the chat again. Let me open up the chat. Live chat. There we go. Yeah, so let me see. Enough of your political ranting. Stick to what you're here for. Shortwave. Angry face guy. Oh my God. Ed Cascool. Listen, you can go to the Canadian guy and he'll spend all the bullshit, whatever, and that's fine. My audience is smarter than that. My audience is, I have a very smart audience here. And I'm doing this live stream. Of course, it's not, whatever. There you go. Yeah, good morning. There you go. By the way, I'm done scanning shortwave right now. I'm just milking some time here because I got to make the YouTube algorithm happy. So I already got 1 hour and 46 minutes in the books, baby. So, if I want to rant, I rant. It's my channel. If you don't like it, leave. Unsubscribe. Fucking leave. I don't give a shit. Start your own channel and put in the videos that I put in. 950 videos later, 5,000 subscribers later, you can do your own shortwave channel. And, and I always said it, I'm going to use this forum for what I'm going to talk about. And that's it. There's not a lot of people like me here. Problem is with you have too many followers out there in this world. And I ain't one of them. I'm not nobody's follower. Okay? So there you go. Unlike him that says, oh, we don't do politics. And then he rants about politics. Me, I don't say that. I say, hey, listen, hour number 2, we talk about whatever the fuck I want to talk about. PG ready out the fucking window, and if you don't like it, then get the fuck off my channel. I don't give a fuck. Oh, fuck you. There you go. Fuck off. I love my radio hobby, but I'm not in denial. It is what it is. I'm not living in no bubble. I'm not going to live in no fucking bubble. You think I care if one person leaves or a couple of people leave? I have 5,000, whatever the fuck now. In a few months, I'll be at 6,000. Bro, do you think you're like a little drop in a fucking bucket? Oh my God, you demand me to put shortwave on. I demand you to put shortwave on. Get out of here, bro. Get the fuck out of here. Back to our regularly scheduled programming. There's nothing on here anyway. So see, I answered James' question. Because James is a loyal listener here, a loyal subscriber here and all that. And you know what? My priority is to my loyal subscribers. Exactly. Go watch some cat videos. Or some Frenchy videos. Stay misinformed. Fucking lemming. Bunch of fucking lemmings anyway. I said, don't you got a protest to go to, like a Free Palestine protest? Yeah, fucking break. Oh, reconnecting. Oh my God, my time hasn't changed. You just made me smile. Thank you. Yeah, don't they know that when you do a live stream? Don't they know that when you do a live stream, you have to be entertaining too? You can't just be boring. Come on, folks. Oh, let me see that again. I'm sorry. Let me check the chat again. I'm sorry. I had to press a button so I can see the chat again. RRT08, Eton Elite Executive on Amazon for $123. I just bought it. Oh, cool. The Executive. Yeah, that's a nice radio. It's a nice radio. Eton Elite Executive. I have the Eton Field BT. No, not the BT. I don't have the Bluetooth one. I have the Eton. The Grund. What is it called? The Eton Field Radio Grundig Edition. Sometimes it's like a long name for it. That is a nice radio. I'm gonna bring that one down here soon. I'm gonna bring down. I was gonna bring that one down here soon so I could live stream with that one in the boiler room. That's my next radio, by the way. The Eton. I'm gonna bring the Eton down here in the boiler. I'm gonna do a couple of more live stream with this one. Price all over the place, usually above $150. Okay, yeah. So you got a good deal. $128. That's a good deal. So I'm going to do a couple of streams with this one. Cover all the bands and everything, and then I'll do a review on it. But of course, I think the review is going to be, obviously, I love this radio. And then the next radio is going to be the Eton. The Eton Field Radio Grundig Edition without the Bluetooth. That one doesn't have Bluetooth. And the reason why I like that radio, because that radio has RDS. It's very good on medium wave and shortwave. And that's why I like that radio. It's, of course, a bigger radio. I'm definitely going to bring that radio down here in the boiler room, hook it up to the MLA30, and play around with that one in the live stream. Because I want to do live streams in the boiler room. So, until I finalize my shack. Yeah, Eton satellite. And then maybe I'll bring down the satellite 750. And I'll do live stream on that one too. The one that he doesn't like because it's too wide. I don't, whatever. But that one doesn't have RDS though, the 750. The field radio has RDS. So I need to get an FM antenna in here too. Right now I have the MLA30 and I have the U loop, but I need to get an FM antenna in here. So I think I'm gonna bring down. Excuse me. I have the Yagi. Remember the AliExpress Yagi? The AliExpress Yagi. So I'm thinking about connecting that one and bring it down to the boiler room. Yeah, I need a coax for that one. I need a third because I have 3 FM antennas up there, 3 TV antennas. So I'm gonna bring that one. I'm gonna bring coax out here so I can do FM in here with an external. Yeah. I can't believe people get triggered over that about why I'm talking about politics. I mean, listen, bro, it's my channel. At the end of the day, I'm going to tell you, it's my channel. I talk about whatever I want to talk about, especially when I see the stupidity that's going on out there. I'm not going to follow the herd. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. And it's unfortunate because I don't hate the guy. I like the guy. But when the minute I added him to my Facebook, and then of course he got inaugurated, multiple times a day he will post meltdown shit. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with the guy? I'm like, what the hell's wrong with the guy? I was like, let me see. I'm sorry, Nick Hansen. Oh, okay. Oh, I could stop it. Okay. Oh, sorry. Oh, Jesus Christ. Sorry. Let me point. Nick Hansen, and thank you for watching. As the last 2 days, I have been quite. Oh my God. The problem is that the chat fades away within a few seconds. So if I'm not reading the whole thing, yeah, it's been quite poor. Yeah, soil conditions been not the best. Yeah, it's been shortwave hasn't been the best. That's why I just did a quick band scan. It's not the best compared to last Like 3 days ago was pretty good, but the last couple of days it's been awful. It's been not so good. Even today on 10 meters, I was doing FTA and I didn't make that many contacts. It was not the best. It was not the best day. The last couple of days, yesterday and day before yesterday was not the best. Yeah, so people got to stop being so triggered over that stuff. That's it. Stop getting all upset about whether whatever. Come on, chill out, people. What are you gonna do? Cryonically freeze yourself for the next 4 years, and then wake up and see JD Vance as the next president, and go back to sleep for another 4 years. Yeah. Yeah, that's Buffalo. I'm gonna tell you something about this radio. When I compare it to the other radio, but it could also be conditions. Yeah, this is not the best reception of ESPN Buffalo, or not the ESPN Buffalo, excuse me. The Bet 1520. Right now, it's not the best reception. Oh, look at that. Oh, hear that. So I'm afraid KXEL is going to be just as bad. Oh, it sounds better, KXEL. KXEL actually sounds better than Buffalo. Oh, that's good. That's good to know. See? Yeah, exactly. I don't watch a lot of news either, especially the mainstream media, because it's a lot of lying. They lie a lot, and they dramatize too much. Yeah, yeah, but I got some people that get worked up over that. And social media, same thing. I just post stuff and that's it, and I'll post a couple of things and that's it. And I don't understand why people take it so personal. So 1540 KXEL out of Waterloo, Iowa. So no Cuba tonight. That is definitely Canada. CBEF out of Canada. You can hear French. So that one's coming in good today.
En fait, j'ai fait 25 000 dans une journée en faisant des voix pour des feux de télé, des feux de radio.
And by the way, I do too. I do watch the occasional cat video and dog videos, especially on TikTok. I do watch a lot, and I also repost them. Especially Frenchies. I love Frenchies. Even though I don't own any pets. If there's one dog I would like to own, probably be a pug. Maybe a pug. Or even a Frenchie. But I'm not gonna go out of my way to get one because first of all, they're very expensive. They're high maintenance, and I'm not with that. So I love looking at them, but I don't think I want to own one because I just can't deal with the cost. But I do watch occasional cat videos too. cool. You have a spider. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I'm sorry I can't read the whole text because what happens right now I'm streaming from my phone, and this is a horizontal format. But the chat when it comes in, it only is there for a second and it fades away. So if I don't read every word verbatim, it's because it fades away. It's not because I don't want to read your whole comment. Normally I'd read everything, but in this format with the phone, the chat fades away very quickly because it takes up half of my screen like this. Okay? But I saw the gist of it. And when it comes back up, I'll read the rest of it. So you have a spider. Okay, that's pretty cool.
Hispanic are getting pushed out of their own neighborhoods. And we're the gated communities with private security. They aren't the ones dealing with the chaos. No, it's mostly...
Yeah, so this is the Black Information Network. So a local station here in New York City. 1610. Out of Canada. $16.20. Nope. All right, take care, Nick Hansen, M7NHR. Take care. Have a great day. And have a great week. This is, I believe, CINA out of I can't pronounce it. Mississauga, Ontario, Canada, I believe. So it's Indian music, Hindu. Mississauga, Ontario, Canada. Coming in pretty good. Excuse me. And that's it. And there you go. That's it. Let me go back to shortwave. I'm going to try shortwave again. Quick scan. Sounds better now. CHU sounds better now. I'm going to do the second go round on shortwave.
CHU, Canada. Coordinated Universal Time. 46 minutes. 40 minutes. Canada. Temps universel coordonné. 6 heures, 47 minutes. 6 hours, 47 minutes.
7th, as it began to dawn toward the first day of the week, came never In the end of the Sabbath, as it began to dawn toward the first day of the week, came Mary Magdalene and the other Mary to see the sepulchre. And behold, there was a great outbreak. And the angel of the Lord descended from heaven and came and rolled back the stone from the door and sat upon it. His countenance was like lightning, and his raiment white as snow. And for fear of him, the keepers did shake and became as dead men. And the angel answered and said unto the women, Fear not ye, for I know.
Call 1-800-338-3030. That's 1-800-338-3030.
Okay, 6050 is from Liberia. Okay, cool. Wow.
Like climbers or foliage growing on them. Data from the investigation showed that Singapore's green walls lower the daytime air temperatures by up to 0.6 to 0.7 degrees Celsius in front and behind them. Results also highlighted the important role plant coverings offer wildlife, including bird citizens and bees, with more than 100 animal people species discovered inhabiting the spaces. It was also found that greenery in conjunction with trees helps form travel networks for bird folk and bees. Such wonderful news for all living beings to coexist in green space. May cities the world...
Radio New Zealand, Pacific.
RNZ News at 8. Good evening, I'm Phil O'Brien. Two men have been charged with murder after the death of a man in South Wairarapa yesterday afternoon. The men, aged 23 and 25, are due to appear in Wellington District Court tomorrow, with police not ruling out further charges against the pair. Police say they believe the people involved in the shooting knew each other, but continue to investigate whether other parties may have been involved. While there's no ongoing risk to the public, there'll be a continued police presence in South Wairarapa. New Zealand First Leader Winston Peters has taken aim at Labour and its handling of the economy when it was in government during his State of the Nation speech today. Mr Peters told party faithful the economic slump and pain when the coalition government took office is the Labour Party's fault. The Christchurch event was peppered by heckling protesters. Leader Chris Hipkins says while Mr Peters was yelling at protesters and channeling Donald Trump, Labour is focused on jobs, health and homes. He says the coalition drove the economy into a recession. It's now trying to distract from the damage they've done. Thousands of Israelis have taken to the streets in Tel Aviv protesting against the resumption of the war in Gaza. The renewed violence leaves the fate of the remaining 59 hostages, 24 of whom are believed to still be alive, unclear. This man told the ABC the violence must end.
Majority of Israel wants to work and wants our brothers and sisters, our moms and our dads, hostages being held in Gaza.
The protests are also video demonstrating against the Israeli government's moves to sack the head of the Internal Security Service. U.S. government spending cuts have cancelled the celebration of 150 years of Kiwi-U.S. scientific cooperation. Universities New Zealand says it was told last month that a $30,000 State Department grant for a function in Washington had been cancelled. The event was to mark 150 years since the U.S. sent scientific expeditions to Queenstown and Chatham Islands to observe the 1874 transit of Venus, a rare event where the planet can be seen moving between the Earth and the Sun. University of New Zealand says the decision is disappointing, but priorities change when governments change. It says there are no plans at this stage for an alternative event. A person has died after a single vehicle crash in the Clutha district of Otago this afternoon. The emergency services say they were called to the crash on Owaka Valley Road about 2:30 p.m. One person has died at the scene, while another occupant of the vehicle was airlifted to Dunedin Hospital in a moderate condition. Former All Blacks coach Alex Wiley is being remembered as one of the toughest leaders in rugby. Now in university as Grizz, he's died at the age of 80 in Picton. John Hart first coached alongside Wiley at the inaugural Rugby World Cup in 1987 as assistant to All Blacks head coach Brian Lahore. He says Wiley commanded respect for his players. And that's the news.
Last week on Voice of the Sea, we talked phytoplankton. This week, we move up the food chain to meet some of the famous locals. Antarctica is the highest, driest, windiest, coldest continent on the Earth. And these are birds that come back to the continent to breed in the middle of wintertime when it's like the worst of all of those things. Find and follow Voice of the Sea on your favorite podcast app. Or join me, Tracy Cannon, Thursday 7:30 p.m. and Sunday 7 a.m. here on International.
Morning on RNZ.co.nz digital TV and iHeartRadio. Short forecast now from mid-service to midnight tomorrow, Northland to Waikato, including Coromandel Peninsula, 5. However, isolated showers in Northland. Waitomo, Tamaranui, Taupo, Bay of Plenty and Gisborne, cloudy periods tomorrow with isolated showers about Waitomo spreading elsewhere in the evening. Hawke's Bay and Wairarapa, showers spreading north tomorrow morning. Taranaki and Taiapi to Wellington, also Nelson. Showers tomorrow, especially morning and afternoon. Bulla, Grey, Westland and Fiordland. Rain or showers clearing in Fiordland this evening and elsewhere tomorrow morning. Margaret and North Otago, scattered rain gradually clearing tomorrow but remaining cloudy. Isolated thunderstorms this evening for inland North Otago and the Canterbury High Country south of Tekapo. The remainder of Otago, also Southland, cloudy periods, scattered showers with isolated thunderstorms for central Otago this evening, becoming confined to the south coast tomorrow morning, then clearing in the afternoon. Chatham Islands, isolated showers turning to rain around midday tomorrow. 5 past 8, news and weather again at 9, just ahead of Sunday night retro. I have a text, which I'll find. Here we go. Who's saying Down Street to the End of Love? A while ago, please. That was a version by Madeline Peru. Remember the Peru, spelled P-E-Y-R-O-U-X. Also a version of Lenny's Down Street to the End of Love. 5 past 8, coming up on Sunday night retro tonight. Some of the stuff we were worried about at the turn of the century, which almost 25 years ago. Mary Lou Harris meets members of a pacifist farm community in near Motueka. Another edition of Todd's Forgotten Tunes, and Dave Dobbin is in the musical tour's hot seat tonight, talking about the 1984 Queen Street riot and other highlights of his lengthy and prodigious career. Y2K is what they called it, a reference to the computer problems anticipated when the dates transitioned from 1999 to 2000. It's also known as the Millennium Bug, or the year 2000 problem.
The year 2000 still seemed like a distant future. In 1995, the internet was just gaining popularity with the general public. It was new and exciting.
I don't even think Google was the search engine in those days.
This is Lawrence Williamson. He was near Zealand's Communication and Information Technology Minister in the 90s.
I was an unusual beast because I was both a minister in the government, but had also come from the world of technology in terms of writing code for companies.
So Williamson was well placed for what was about to unfold. Kia ora, I'm Dallas Reed, and in this eyewitness episode, we'll look at the Y2K bug, the radio, the media, and the aftermath. And what if people remember it? Most of us lived through it, and a few of us still have some questions. So how did it all begin?
Why do people in the computer industry talking many years before about how many computer packages and codes didn't have the 19 included in their dates? And whenever you got to a point where there was no longer a 19, what would happen to a date-based operating system?
Back then, computers were large and memory space was small. So to save that space, computer programmers had shortened the year format. TBN's Sharon protocol sums it up quite nicely. Major software industries like banking and airlines was built on old technology that effectively measured the data in 2 digits rather than 4. The difference between the data making over from 99 to 00 or from 1999 to 2000. So this is the Y2K bug. Y for year, 2K for 2000. It was labelled as a bug because that's the engineering term for a fault or flaw. How flawed could Y2K be? Well, the fear was that computers might not clock over, the power might go out, and services like hospitals might fail. If we didn't do anything to fix it, the world as we knew it might shut down. Andrew McKee, like a lot of people, was on the fence.
Yeah, I was at New Zealand Red Cross, and I was the sort of emergency disaster response manager position I'm still holding. I was a bit sceptical about it. As an organisation, we were just sort of moving into network computers and internet access or anything other than a phone line. So, yeah, I'm not a tech-savvy person. I think we were sort of 386 computers, so it was all pretty basic.
Basic, but essential.
Yeah, I think it was probably 2 or 3 years before Y2K where it was slightly excited that they were coming up to the turn of the century and various scenarios that poured over that period of time about what was likely to happen to the sort of global Red Cross movement. And I was talking to national societies and countries like Canada and the United Kingdom, and they were really interested in what was happening in New Zealand because we would be the first country affected.
So New Zealand is to be the early warning system for the rest of the world. The country springs into action, and Williamson is right in the middle of it.
Then, simply, as Prime Minister, felt the issue was so important, I was made Minister for the Y2K, Minister for Y2K. It sounded like in the title that I was really responsible for the Y2K, which I wasn't. I was responsible for trying to make sure that everyone was well aware of what could happen.
And what could happen? When 99 reached 00, we really didn't know. So the preparations began. Ads like this one play on the radio. Y2K preparation checklists are mailed out. Articles run in the newspapers. There are fridge magnets, pamphlets, and Y-photo OK stickers. There's even a song some primary school kids sing. And it goes on. Y2K 2000, Y2K 2000, and you millennials. This is my colleague at R&D, Ellie Ventura. When she was a kid, it seems more like a city story than a worldwide concern. And the reason I know the reason is because it's an earworm. It gets stuck in my head to this day. Alerts, which were about what's going to happen, like what will your computers do. When you get stuff, we didn't know, of nothing. We didn't even know about computers. We didn't know what it happened, but we knew that there was something that might go wrong. Some of the other lyrics included lines like, will we go blind into a dying world? Will we still see children dying of hunger every day? Will disease and pain be with us in the same old way? Will our minds be blown away? And will there be an end to war and Y2K? Right down on the front of the scare us, basically. In 1999, Y2K was coming, and you better be ready. Which was ready was exactly exactly what Andrew McKee was doing.
Being an emergency manager in business, it was a good opportunity to push the emergency management message in order to everything sort of building up to that time.
Amongst all this preparation, Williamson is seeing the public panic begin to set in.
There are many other people saying, the government's going to copper because the electrical grid will no longer work and we'll have no electricity for heaps of time and the aviation system will all come undone because control towers won't work. And I read stories where people claimed that in the United States there'd be planes just falling out of the sky left, right and centre, and of course every briefing we got back said no, that's not the case.
This was one of the rumours that really took off.
Public opinion surveys done by the Y2K Readiness Commission show that flying is one of the activities most feared after December the 31st.
One news reported this too.
At one end of the scale is doomsday predicting planes falling out of the sky. That's rubbish.
And this was on RNZ Morning Report.
Probably the biggest risk to air travel in New Zealand will be the toilets not working at Australia Airport. That's about as far as it goes.
But the rumours keep coming.
We're told some of the cars wouldn't work because they had random chips in their systems now. But also there were things like all the traffic lights weren't going to work. I remember someone advocating that at midnight all the traffic lights would just all go to red and you'd never want to drive around the town and so on.
Some people had claimed old missile systems might crash in America and Russia, causing a nuclear disaster. And there were fake telemarketers convincing people to transfer their money into Y2K safe accounts. As the millennium crept closer, there was a rumour that foreign cults were coming to Gisborne to hold maximum renowned suicides. And Gisborne Hospital had to take this into consideration in preparing for the new year. The rumours were scary, but Williamson had a fair idea of why all this panic had appeared.
What was run on the media and what was run on the public is, this could be the end of us all, we're all doomed. Didn't seem to have that much of a...
All right, people. I'm gonna sign off now. Been out for 2 hours and 32 minutes. I wanted to try out this horizontal live stream using my phone, and it looks like it's a pretty good success. And I know I went on a couple of tangents there, but I gotta address the. I'm addressing my chat. I talk with my chat. And some people don't like it. Sorry. It is what it is. But this is what makes my channel unique. So anyway, I'm going to sign off now. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I hope you have a good morning. Have a great week. And I'll see you soon. Take care. I love you all. Have a great week. Bye-bye.